Back, Delhi's Aam Aadmi Party government has presented a 53,000 crore rupees budget for the national capital. Once again, it has increased allocation to key sectors like healthcare and education and has also focused on steps to tackle pollution in the national capital. In its effort to fight pollution within the city, the government has allowed a concession of 50% in the registration of CNG cars. The government has also said that it will install solar panels over 16-kilometer cycle track, and as many as 1,000 indoor display boards will be installed in government buildings to provide information on air pollution levels. Apart from the green aspect of the budget, the government has also allocated 13,800 crore rupees towards education for the installation of CCTV cameras, self-defense classes for girls, and the promotion of sports. And finally, healthcare. This has been a key subject and a key area of this government. The government has now allocated 6,700 crore rupees towards health insurance for all and mohalla clinics. Those were the key highlights. And for more on that, we are now joined by Mr. Somnath Bharti, former Law Minister and Aam Aadmi Party MLA. Somnath Bharti, always a pleasure to speak with you. You know, we're going to get to health and education in just a bit, sir. But of course, the key focus has been the headline, if you read online, is the fact that this is India's first green budget. But Mr. Somnath Bharti, if I were to, be the devil's advocate, because many are wondering that if the Delhi government had some solutions to tackle this menacing issue of Delhi's air pollution, why didn't the government do something for the last few years when Delhi, especially during the winters, had become a gas chamber? How would you respond to those who feel that this is too little, too late?
Ron, I appreciate you asking the straight question, but before I come to your question, let me say 5 things about this budget. First is that the first time in the history of any assembly across the nation, there was an outcome budget, and second was that there are deadlines on every key project of the government. Never ever happened in the history. So such judicious and conscious use of public money has never happened by any government across the country, across the nation. Number 2, such massive investment in 2 key sectors. One is education, and second is healthcare, and third is the way we have decided to tackle this menace of pollution, air pollution majorly. There are 26 agenda items to be executed to contain and cure. First is to contain and then to cure air pollution in Delhi, which has now become such a deadly disease across the city that children, adults, everybody is badly affected.
Yes, sir. Of course.
And next is such judicious use on transportation, such uses of public money on solar schemes, electric buses, that brings massive uses of technology. I mean, Aam Aadmi Party, in contrast to central government, if you analyze the budgets of central government and Delhi government, we have used massive technology.
So let's not talk about central government, sir. Let's stick to Delhi. Sir, we talk about central government every single day, sir. Let's talk about Delhi.
No, that's what I'm saying.
My question was simple, sir.
I agree with you.
If the Delhi government, as you claim that you...
When you talk of excellence, then you have to do comparison.
But according to Aam Aadmi Party, the BJP-led government is anything but excellent, sir. Why should you compare yourselves to the BJP-led government? Anyway, sir, let's not quibble over this. The fact of the matter is, if Delhi did have answers to address, this vexatious issue of air pollution, why didn't the government do something 3 years ago? Many are wondering, are you doing it at this point with an eye on the bypolls? That's what your critics are saying tonight, sir.
Ron, unfortunately, our party doesn't at all think of any good to be done to public in Delhi or across the nation, wherever we are, keeping election in mind, unfortunately. We're not election-oriented party. We want to do benefits to people of Delhi. In fact, if you look at the budget speech of our education minister and finance minister, Mr. Manish Sisodia, he used the word called LG in his speech. I think somebody was counting beyond 100 times.
Yes.
So problem is that anything which we want to do, there is a cap on it. There is a caveat in it. The caveat is that LG Saab pass kar dein to. Now, LG Saab has to be conscious of his duties towards people of Delhi. His duties are not towards BJP from the party where he comes from. Right. I humbly request even through you that such a beautiful budget, the budget which is so dedicated to the key areas of the Delhiites, should be allowed to function the way it has been designed by Manish and the government of Aam Aadmi Party. If it is,
I give that to you.
If it is allowed to be executed the way it is designed, I can assure you, Delhi would not prove only #1 city in India. Possibly this will match the better cities of the world also.
So being Delhiites, I mean, nothing will give us more happiness, than to see Delhi elevate to the levels and, and to live up to the expectations and hopes of this government. But sir, many are also raising some practical issues with this government. Let's just say, what you have proposed in the budget, 50% concession on registration of CNG cars. Now, the last time I checked, overall CNG vehicles, this is cars, two-wheelers, buses, all of that put together in the city of Delhi was almost 1 million. The problem is not necessarily of CNG vehicles, but having, not having enough CNG stations. So while you're talking about concession to CNG cars, why don't you also talk about perhaps concession to, to a body like IGL to set up more CNG stations? So these are some of the practical suggestions that are coming in, Mr. Bharti.
No, Ron, you're right. In fact, the problem is that the public transport in Delhi has to be made dependable. Public transport has to be made dependable for every sector, whether it be the rich class, the middle class, the poor class, the metro, the last mile connectivity to every house, to every inner colony, 1,000 electric buses, etc., etc. All of these have to be meticulously executed so that public transport becomes the #1 choice for the people of Delhi. And that is why your suggestion is, of course, to be noted down, that CNG stations will also be there. The moment CNG cars and public transport, the way we have thought of to implement in Delhi, the way they go executed, the way it's written in the book, it's written in the speech, it's designed by the government, surely enough, CNG stations will also be increased in number. Number two, if you look at the budget, the quantum, 53,000 crores. In 2011-12, it was 26,000 crores, 100% increase. Never ever it happened in the history that any government budget has gone double. And it is all because of the honest intentions and because we have succeeded to plug the holes of corruption in
point
the
taken,
Mr. Government.
Mr. Somnath Bharti,
this government
absolutely,
has been able to show some brilliance through the finance minister's speech.